All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to CONSERVATISH, episode 179. My name is Peter Edgar Feliciano, and make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening. Make sure you share this with your less offendable friends. Make sure you rate this and review it. And find me on Instagram while I'm still there before they kick me off at Peter_Feliciano. And you can support this podcast and my music at CONSERVATISH podcast or patreon.com/CONSERVATISH podcast. Ladies and gentlemen and Zers, our wonderful guest today is Scott LoBaido. Yay! Thank you so much for doing this, sir. First things first, I'm going to link it down in the description of the YouTube, but where can people find you?
Facebook keeps shutting me down, as we know. We'll get to that a little later on. Instagram, I'm pretty hot on. TikTok, a little bit of Twitter, and my website, scottlobaido.com. You could see all my work. I got stuff for sale. You could see what I've done. The portraits of Nancy Pelosi, the cool portraits of Trump, the fucked up portraits of Mario Cuomo, and fucking stupid ass fucking mayor, and all of that wonderful stuff.
Yeah, you're fucking amazing. I have to start this off just by saying thank you for your goddamn hard work. I have had a problem. Sometimes it's difficult. Like I'm in a different medium. I'm a musician and a podcaster and all that bullshit or whatever. But sometimes it's hard to find where's the balance between, am I worried about people not appreciating me because of my ego, or am I worried about people not appreciating me because it's natural and normal for artists to be put here to convey a message? And when that message is being fucked with, when that message is being underappreciated, it's normal and natural to do that. I have a problem finding out the balance because I get my ego all wrapped up in it. You know what I mean? Like that's
ego. Listen, ego is okay to have when you're doing something that's a gift from God or wherever you. I never really went. I was never educated in my creativity. I learned myself. It was from my mom and my dad and God, whatever. So yeah, there was a little bit of an ego, not cockiness. You know, people mistake cockiness for narcissism. Narcissism is not necessarily a bad word either. So yeah, it's like whatever you do. If you're a chef, you know, you could have a little bit of an attitude when you bring out my fucking ribeye steak perfectly the way I want it with some, you know, sauteed broccoli rabe. It's unbelievable. That's an art right there. Have a fucking ego. You know, don't be cocky about it, but have an ego. It's healthy. Have an ego.
So you're saying you're not a vegan?
I eat everything. I eat, I drink, I smoke. I'm an artist. I'm not supposed to live long. And if I didn't smoke and drink, people would probably be murdered. This is my, you know, I'm a very temperamental, hot-headed Sicilian New Yorker artist. So I get, you know, this calms me down. This keeps me, you know, so does my work, obviously.
I also wanted to start this off by saying one of the things that I've so I've always been kind of a rebellious motherfucker. Like my favorite musicians, my favorite composer of all time is Frank Zappa, and he sprayed it everywhere. Everybody got a bullet. He made fun of the Christians. He made fun of the hippies. He made fun of the blacks. He made fun of the gay. Everybody gets a bullet for two reasons. Number one, it's equality. And number two, it's not a bullet, ladies and gentlemen. It's just fucking words. And then the other thing is, I deeply, deeply appreciate when someone can have the energy to tell a motherfucker to shut the fuck up, like, you know, to like tell it like it is, rather than just be like, I'm sorry, whatever. You know, I'm gonna try to work within the boundaries. One of my friends is Mark Hughes comic. He's always getting kicked off of Facebook, always for the jokes and all that stuff. So where along your life is it just natural Sicilian Staten Island shit, or was there a point where you were trying to play the game, play within the bounds, and then you realized, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna come out guns blazing?
Yeah, I like this subject a lot because I've been an artist since childhood, and I went to go find my calling in the big city from Staten Island to Manhattan. It's New York. If you can make it here, you know, that's where you make it as an artist, whatever. And it was back in the 90s, and I was just dumbfounded. I was blown away by the lack of respect for the flag and those who fought under it for us creatives. And, you know, patriotism fluctuates, whether it was the 60s with Vietnam, and then the 90s, I saw it take a dip again. and it was kind of like taboo and whatnot. So I said, fuck this, man. I don't want any part of this fucking art world. I mean, there were galleries that had the American flag on the floor as a welcome mat to wipe your feet when you come in. And, you know, I wasn't, you know, always a crazy patriot. My work, you see some of my work, it's very surreal, it's abstract. But I always had that patriotic bug in me because of the community I'd come from. It's cops, firemen, veterans, military. Grandpa was in the big one, World War II. My uncle's in Vietnam. That flag was always in front of Nana's house when we were playing in the yard. It was always there to remind us. And, you know, so I went with an open mind, you know, knowing how the art world is. And I said, how the fuck do the people, us creatives, with more freedoms and rights than anybody else in the fucking universe, we get to test the boundaries of that First Amendment. We get to fuck with that line. Therefore, we should be the most patriotic, America-loving, flag-loving, military-loving, veteran-loving than any. And, you know, even now, you know, and it's not like that. 99% of the art world is extremely left-leaning. And, you know, I know plenty of artists that are patriotic and appreciate it, but the bulk of it and the art world, okay, the leaders of the fucking art club, what is the art club? It is supposed to be the most tolerant, open-minded form of anything, and it is the opposite. Because I said, I don't want any part of you. Well, then you're not going to make it as a fucking artist. You're fucking blacklisted. And that just went to prove, and still to this day, 30 years later, I'm blacklisted. They know who the fuck I am, but they fear me because I did not succumb to the isms of their elitist agenda. It's an agenda. Everybody is open in the art world. They'll accept anybody, serial killers, you name it. And I don't give a shit. I love art. Right. But when you shut me down because I don't pronounce my R's properly, and I come from, you know, Staten Island, and I'm Italian, and I come from working people, right? Fuck you. And that's when I found my calling. I said, I'm going to create that American flag. I'm going to paint it three-dimensional, different colors, bold, abstract, on the sides of buildings, on cars, on canvases. And it was like pulling teeth for the first couple of years. And then people started catching on, and I stuck with it. I mean, the art world shredded the fuck out of me, and they still do today. And I love it because I consider myself a success. You know, I'm nationally known. I got fans across the world. And they hate me because I succeeded without their blessing, without them. You understand? Right. So I respect that you are outside that box. It's very difficult. People come to me. I'll run out of breath in a second here. No. Come to me and they say, "Look, Scott, I have beliefs like you, but I just can't. I'm trying to, you know, make it in this advertising world or the fashion world." I said, "Don't open your fucking mouth." I can. I took that direction as an individual artist. Perfectly individual where I answer to nobody. And let me tell you, it was tough as shit, but I got there. And that was the sexy part about it, was the struggle. So I don't recommend people do that, you know, until it really opens up, maybe in a couple of years, maybe in 10 years. It's like Hollywood. If you come out as a Republican or a conservative or Trump supporter in Hollywood, you get the part in the X-Lax commercial in the back. You're the ex-stock boy in the fucking back room. It sucks, but that's the way it is. But I know it's like that. So I have liberal artist friends. Hey, fine. I don't give a fuck. That's your thing. I'm doing my thing. And if you don't respect me, go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit. I don't need you. Right. And that's that. Let me take a breath.
No. Hey, that was definitely my experience. So I've been writing music for about 10 years and doing it professionally. And what I would notice is that, because I just assumed for years that, like, of course I'm a leftist, of course I'm a liberal, of course, you know, whatever, you know, because I like black people and I like gays, whatever. So there's an of courseness. And the problem that I ran across was, and Mark Hughes put it perfectly, whatever side is against free speech, that's who I'm against. You know what I mean? And the same thing goes across the world. The who are those motherfuckers from, those girls from Russia, Pussy Riot? They wear masks and they play fast punk and whatever. Yeah. Like, real ass punks should be our zenith, should be our ideal.
It's fucking insane. It's the new world, man. It's reversed. It's reversed now.
Right. And these liberal artists, for the most part, not always, but a lot of liberal artists are boring as fuck. How can you really, if the majority of university, Hollywood, social media companies, news, if all of these, if everybody at the top is all liberal, who are you raging against? I understand raging against the machine back in the 90s when it was like, yeah, we want to, but now you're raging against a different, you're with the fucking machine. You're not a goddamn artist.
My friend, it's unfortunate, and I hate to be that old man. Get off my lawn. I'm 55 and a half. But it's a new generation, and technology did play a role in it, this cell phone. I mean, I love that I'm 55 years old, where I hung out in bars, I picked up girls, I did things without a cell phone, before the beeper. And it was, and I ran this bar in Staten Island, of all places, called the Cargo Cafe by the ferry. And a couple of my buddies opened it up, and I needed a place, and I moved right in. This was back in the 90s. And I said, I'm going to take over here. I'm going to make this place I'm going to paint the outside, fucking weird shit and everything. And it's going to be open to everybody. Gays, transgenders, 80-year-olds, 17-year-olds. Back in the day, you were, black, white, Muslim, Jew. The owners were Jews. I was the token Guinea, the token Republican, the token patriot, the token artist. And like you said earlier, and we all fucking got along. I told black jokes. They told Italian jokes. We fucking loved each other. There was this whole beautiful thing. And then technology came along, and people just started losing personal, social interaction and get in a bar fight. I beat some people up. I got my fucking face cracked open. And the next day you buy the guy a drink. And it was just a beautiful thing. You smell a girl, not like go creep up on her, but you see a girl, you smell her, you feel her, you listen to her, and I'm telling my nephew, get the fuck out, fuck this phone, use it. But anyway, so the moral of the story is, it was the most eccentric place. And we had people come in, the skinheads came in one time, because there was gays in there, and there was Muslims in there, and there was Jews in there. And they tried to it was a huge brawl. And I seen fucking some of my gay friends, very, flamboyant, get up and fucking kick some ass. Yeah. And we stuck with each other. And then all of a sudden, the Trump thing happened, and all of these friends that I created this culture. I'm very fucking liberal. I'm so fucking liberal. But I vote conservative. I'm not an asshole, and that's why they hate me. They hate me because I'm not that, Gestapo, bigoted, homophobic, and I'm not that. I'm a very compassionate man. I mean, anybody that does research, I've raised millions of dollars for every organization, minorities and gay community and just amputees and veterans. And I don't mean to pop my bubble, but I'm getting to a point here. And they fucking hate that I am a compassionate conservative, because they can't see it. It's like the whole over the top environmental thing. Save the two-headed fucking gnat to kill all these fucking jobs. Listen, I like to get laid too, guy. But listen, you're doing this for one reason, to look like you're a competitor. It's bullshit. Have a boundary. Everything got to be realistic. So anyway, the moral of the story is, it's like, it's just people got lost. They need to follow something. You got to be an individual first.
Right. And
don't follow, with these protests and stuff. I've been protesting for 30 years. I've been arrested dozens of times. Pro-American, pro-veteran, pro-community. I did it by myself most of the time. And these younger generations, they just need to follow something. And you're out there protesting in the street. I love a protest. That's my favorite fucking thing about the First Amendment. But when you're doing it because you got a fucking tweet, join us. We're going to be here wreaking havoc. If you're out there, and I don't even agree with whether it's BLM, and I don't agree with some of your policies, and you're out there truly fighting for your cause, you got my fucking respect. Right. But when it's a bunch of mostly young white women in their 17s to 20s, they're out there just fucking, they don't know what they are part of. Right. And that, fuck you. You're nothing. You're garbage.
Right. I want that on a shirt. I want that to be my fucking ringtone. Fuck you. You're nothing. You're garbage. The other thing is I'll posit this to you. Whether it be art, music, comedy, whatever the medium, there seems to have been, and I don't know if it was, I don't know what exactly it was, but it seems like when I listened to Frank Zappa talk about this clip back in the 60s, the reason, he said the reason why crazy music got made is because the fat cats with the money, the producers, the A&R people, they didn't know what people wanted. And so they said, okay, they let anything fly. They were like, fuck it. Hey, hippie with the mop who's mopping up today at the studio, what do you think these kids want? And he's like, you know, he's high as fuck or whatever. And he's just like, let's choose this. Let's try this. Let's play a xylophone. You know what I mean? Like they let experimental shit happen. They let creative people be creative. And then it turned around. And the same thing sounds like the art world, where I think part of the reason why the art world, the comedy world, the music world, why there are these gatekeepers are really essentially non-artist artists. They don't need to get a message out there. They like the importance of letting you know whether you can get your message out there. You know what I mean? So like as an example, what's another example? The difference would be, you know, Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah. So Billy Corgan, even though I don't like a lot of his stuff after Smashing Pumpkins, he cannot stop making music. There is something in his bones, something in his animal that makes him need to fucking create. And cocksuckers who are in charge of music companies and record companies and the art club, like you're saying, they don't need to create. They don't need to get a message out there. They just want to be in charge of critiquing. They want to be in charge of letting motherfuckers who are driven and have that need in their animal to get that message out there. They like the importance. So
you're absolutely right. You can't. It's not about. It's about. You know, look, I made lots of sacrifices, and I'm proud that I did. And there's nothing sexy in that. I know my mortality. I know how long I'm gonna fucking live. I'm not gonna live 1,000 years, and I'm doing whatever the fuck I want.
Right.
That no one can tell me. The club can't tell me, like they can't tell this guy from Smashing Pumpkins. They'll tell. Now we're not interested. They want the fast, quick gratification, the dollar. And I understand that. I'm a capitalist. But you got to let creativity flow, and it should not have anything to do with my fucking ideology. You know, I get slaughtered every time I post something, whether it's even just words. The art community slaughters the fuck out of me. I did this sculpture when this whole thing happened with George Floyd, who nobody says his fucking name anymore, who got killed. And it was horrible. And I was totally against it. So was the world. And fuck was my point here? What's my point? What were we on?
Sculpture.
Yeah. So again, I'm a human being. I have, you know, I want everybody to get along like we used to get along, right. You know? And I did this beautiful sculpture, and I made it out of like duct tape and wire. And I had 4 people, 2 black figures and 2 white figures. And they were pushing up this ladder. And I had this ladder, and I had this pole with a peace sign on it with the American flag on it. And it represented that together, it was very simple, together, without the fucking media and the bigwigs telling us what the fuck to do, who's racist, who isn't, we can do this. The fucking art world, the black community, some of my black people go, oh my God, I was crying, that's so beautiful. I don't like your politics, Scott, but this is what you are. You know? But the young, white, liberal artists in my community lost their fucking minds. They threatened to destroy it. They threatened to take it down. They were going to burn it. You got to get this down. You're a racist. You're a Trump supporter. And I had to fucking take it down because it was on public property. It was in front of Borough Hall. And they gave me permission without getting, and it was beautiful. But they made me fucking take it down because God forbid somebody destroyed. They didn't make me. I took it down because God forbid one of these fuckers, okay, these fucking trophy getting fucking punks would have burned it or destroyed it. I wouldn't have been upset. That black family who thought that was a great fucking thing would have been upset, and I didn't want any part of that. So yeah, it's back to that whole thing. The art world is not what they used to be or what they are supposed to be. It's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. Again, I hate your politics, but you do some great art, my friend, my liberal friend. You do some great art. The other thing is, notice how I'm called a conservative artist. I don't call my liberal artist friends liberal artists. They're called artists. I'm not an artist. I'm a hot-ass conservative, controversial artist.
Right.
My art, some people like to do landscapes and they do them beautifully. I'm a provocateur. I provoke emotion. I'll make you cry with a memorial I put up last night with the Twin Towers because of the 20th anniversary. I'm getting involved in that. And then the next day, I'll do a portrait of Donald Trump, 25 feet, and I'll drive it around Manhattan on a fucking billboard, and I'll have you pissing and puking your pants. It's a social experiment. I'm a provocateur. That's what my art does. So yeah, fuck you. I'm an artist, whether you like my work or not. Not you. I'm talking to the art world. Fuck you. I'm an artist.
And by the way, those gatekeepers in the art world, because I know this to be true across the board, they don't actually know. Let's just take, they know gays, they know some trans, but they don't know any black people. Here's something I thought of when I was living in the Bay Area. I saw this big mural outside of a Starbucks in Palo Alto, California, where they have, you know, it's the hub of like Apple and Google, all in that area, right? And these rich kind of young money white liberals, they only like black people in their philanthropy and in their art. They don't actually like black people in their streets. They don't actually know the breadth and the depth of black experience. They follow 1 or 2 Instagram accounts that are highly slanted to, oh, poor black people all the time. They know 1 or 2 black girls or black guys who have black degrees, who have studies in blacks or whatever. And so they're getting one fucking message. They don't know actually do you know how many motherfucking black people don't like gay people? You want to fucking talk about the fucking truth? Let's be fucking real. These white liberals have never been to a fucking barbecue. These white liberals have never hung out. They don't know what fucking chitlins taste like. None of these motherfuckers are real down ass motherfuckers. They like their black people in their philanthropy and in their art. They don't like them on their streets. Same thing I would say for these you know, gatekeepers, these annoying, stuffy, douchebag assholes in any of these, the bookers, the producers, all of these assholes, they don't actually fucking know black people.
The BLM movement, you know, again, I have a lot of respect for it. Yeah, the black community, you know, does have some issues, and I understand that. Again, I don't understand it fully. I'm not black, but again, I'm a human being.
Sure.
But the young white liberal, okay, infiltrated BLM and fucked up all this shit. Okay, that's it, to project their own agenda, and that's it. And I've been delivering that message on people. Oh, you shouldn't be touching that subject. I'm a fucking human being. I'm gonna touch that subject because it's obvious. Malcolm X. Nobody wants to show this fucking video, but it's out there. Malcolm X did a speech in the 60s on the white liberal.
Yeah,
they are the fox, not the wolf. You can see the wolf. The fox you cannot see. They are coming in to infiltrate, to use the black movement for their own fucking socialist agenda. That's what disgusts me. Right. You got a real issue? Fine. Like you just said, they don't know squat about the black community. It's just, oh, let's jump on this fucking wagon. While we're on the subject, I want to say this. I'm tired of people on both sides of the spectrum politically saying, I don't see color. I don't see color. I'm like, hold on a second. I'm an artist. I see color. I see that sunset, okay? I see that shadow that's cast, the flag on the pole. I see the different colors of the sidewalk because of that shadow. I see a Chinese guy, okay? I see everybody equal, but I see you different. Because you are fucking different. And that's beautiful that you're fucking different. I see color. I see a black dude. I see a ginger girl with beautiful red hair and freckles. I see it, and I'm going to acknowledge it. I'm not going to be derogative or saying it. But I see it. People need to see the fucking color and the gender and see whatever. See it. Stop with this. Everyone is equal. We are equal, but we are not the fucking same. We're not the same. I'm an outcast in the art world. I am totally an out, but I deal with it. It just and the sensitivity over the top bullshit. It's out of control. It's just, we'll get into the Dr. Seuss thing. It's fucking insanity. These are the same generation that watch South Park and the Family Guy, which is the most politically incorrect, abusive, racist, homophobic shit in the world. It's humor. But but still, that gets a pass. But you know, because I voted for Trump, I'm a racist. I don't have a racist bone in my body. I sleep like a fucking baby at night. Right. Let me say something about racism. That word racism is one of our most ugly, historical, meaningful words, and it has been abused. People have become numb to it. When you just throw it around at any fucking body who's not even a racist, you destroyed a very powerful, historical, ugly fucking word. So they are eating themselves. I've watched this for 30 years. 30 years ago, political correctness popped its ugly head up. And I noticed it. And that's how I started getting arrested and defending the Pledge of Allegiance. And when this politically correct bullshit happened, Scott, what are you doing? You look, hey, crazy Scott on the front page of the Post in handcuffs. I'm delivering, I am Paul Revere. I am telling you something. And here the fuck we are, where we can't read Dr. Seuss, but Cardi B can scream, eat my fucking ass, and kids can fucking watch it any second of the day. So here it is. And a lot of my friends came to the game, even with the Trump stuff. They came out that I've been warning them, come on out and fight with me. And they did come out to the game, but they came to the game too fucking late. So here's where we are. And I'm confident, I'm an optimist, that these fucking people, these hypocrites, these double standard fucking hypocrites are going to eat themselves like the Walking Dead, and we'll get back to a little bit of a normalcy.
I cannot fucking wait for that to happen. I cannot fucking wait. It's going to be so fun. But it does, and you've been doing it a lot longer than I have, but I have noticed, like, so the reason why I wanted to start this show is to humanize pretty much any type of fucking human, but especially people who don't have, who don't fall in step with the leftist, you know, ideology. And essentially me starting the show was coming out as not being a liberal. And so I've mostly faced, there's been a couple of people, mostly bitchy white men who have called me a Nazi. I'm half fucking Puerto Rican. How could the fuck did that happen? But anyway, mostly bitchy white men. But I've also like been a bit of a lightning rod, and I don't mind it. I kind of like it. I'm not afraid as much of, I mean, even doing this goddamn show has helped me so much, just spiritually, just mentally, just emotionally, of like not being afraid of fucking confrontation.
Listen, let me cut in
for a second. World.
Exactly. Listen, if you had one fucking viewer, you'd still be doing this. You understand?
Yeah.
Because it's your fucking passion. It's your therapy. Art is therapy. I tell people all the time, it is the best drug in the world to create something. And when you got people around you that ever come up to you and say, like I do, you know, I used to be so good at it, but my fucking kids, my husband's an asshole, I got no time. I said, whoa, that's the time you lock yourself in the fucking bathroom with your sketch pad. You're not doing it for anybody but yourself. Let your kids drink the fucking Drano under the fucking thing for half an hour. They'll be fine. Let your fucking husband go do his thing, or your wife go, whatever. Take a fucking hour of your day and do what you knew that was in your heart. Sketch, whatever it is. Just fucking write, sketch, sing. It's the best therapy in the world. I'm no fucking genius, but I'm telling you that works.
Right. I also, I understand, because this is another thing that people like, especially artists or comedians or whatever, who are on the cutting edge of being a lightning rod or whatever you want to call it, essentially non-liberal side. I understand if that's not an artist's jam to, like, you know, come to the fight, like you said, right? But also a piece of me feels a bit, I have less respect for a motherfucker when they're unwilling to join the fight. I have a little less respect for a motherfucker, and not to say that you need to make art like Scott LoBaido, or you need to, you know, make comedy like you know, Bill Hicks, when you feel more like a Brian Regan. You know what I mean? It's fine to do whatever art, but I do have less respect for people who are like, oh, but I'm trying to make it, and I know I have to play the game. I feel a bit like, all right, well, fine, fuck you. Like when the gulags come and you're like surprised, all of a sudden we're both in chains. I feel a little less. I get your point,
but I do have a little disagreement with you on that. Is because, again, there's, you know, when I started, there was many directions I could go. I did a little ad working for an ad agency to make money, and, you know, there's money to be made. I suffered. I begged, barred, and stole because I knew I was going the individual route where, fuck you, I'm doing it my way, and I'll eat the shit, you know, living in my fucking car, all the whole bullshit story. Right. But there's a lot of people, especially nowadays, who, you know, in order to make a buck, the man is in the, you know, the art club man or whatever is going to say, fuck you. You know, I get it all the time. I get emails from all over the world. Like, you know, I mentioned one thing. They saw a sticker on my book that said Trump on it, and they fired me. Or they put me in the back room where I wasn't the creative director anymore. So I understand how people, you know, when it comes to that, it's a touchy subject. And it's fucking sad. This is America. It's not supposed to be that way. Right. But I get it. And, you know, so I won't knock anybody who won't come out. But if you got the balls, and I see you got the balls, and you can do it, and you're not doing it, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear you. If you're saying it on social media, everybody can see it, then get the fuck out in the street with me, okay? I'm going out there by myself in the fucking cold to do this. Right. Come and join me, or go do it yourself. Get out in the street. Old school, public fucking art. That's why they'll shut me down on Facebook and social media. You know, I don't know if you saw the thing I did on Facebook.
It was fucking beautiful.
That's it. Fuck you. You're going to shut me down on your social media? Then I'm bringing it to your front fucking door. I'm old school, man. I'm a public fucking artist. My art is in the street. I'm 55. I'm still bringing it out there, getting cut up, getting splinters, bringing sculptures and paintings. Fuck you. Here it is. Fuck you. You're going to take that away from me. This is fucking my fucking First Amendment.
Part of that is you're a New Yorker as well. Because there's a lot, I think a lot of the gatekeepers, they're not used to street motherfuckers. They're used to passive aggression, not genuine, you know, the genuine article of willing to, you know, there are a lot of Bay Area motherfuckers, essentially. Is what I'm saying. There are a lot of Los Angeles motherfuckers.
There's a lot of street artists out there, but 99.9% of them happen to be liberal, which is fine. So this is where I'm the motherfucker to them, because I'm a conservative and I'm a street artist. You know, nah, that doesn't exist. This guy's no good. You know, he's a fraud. He's a hack. I get it all. I get it all.
Right.
But that's what they just can't handle that when they should. And again, back to that point, you are the open-minded, tolerant art world, except if I happen to be a Trump supporter or a Republican that I've been for my whole career. And back in the day in Chicago, my liberal friends, they all knew I was a Republican, and we'd have discussions. We'd make fun of each other's politics. Yes. Nobody would cry. Nobody would say, you know, I'm not your friend anymore. I got friends for 30 years. All of a sudden, then they fucking put me on a racist page. They started a page of Staten Island's #1 racist, Scott LoBaido. Is it a joke? And I said, okay, let's call your workplace and see how your boss feels about what you're doing. Page down. They tried to take. I got thousands of flags across this country.
Wait. Can you expand on that topic? So someone started a page and it was against you, calling you a racist, and
it was after that sculpture I put up.
Okay.
You know, they just bring, oh, he's a racist. And they were like, Staten Island's prominent racist. And I was at the top of the list.
Wow.
I've been called everything. I get it every day. I enjoy it. I'm a big boy. But when you put me on that level, you're putting me in trouble there, which is bullshit. You call me anything you want, but you call me what I'm not, like that. Watch how quick your fucking page comes down. And pages went down like this. And then they started a petition to take my American flag murals down. And I have thousands of them. Right. I have 3 giant ones in each state. I do 50 state tours in my truck. And I got hundreds of them in my community in Staten Island and Brooklyn and Manhattan. And they started a petition to remove Scott LoBaido's flag murals across the country. Same thing. I found out some people, oh, how you doing? This is a school teacher that wants to take flags down. Let's let her fucking principal know that. Page down, page down, page down. They don't realize the more they tell me not to do something, as soon as the weather breaks, I'm going to paint more flags than I did before. I'm going to find out where some of these people live, and I'm going to go to the business across the street from them, and I'll pay the fucking guy to let me paint a flag on his wall. So when you walk out your fucking door, you got to see a Scott LoBaido American flag in front of your fucking face every fucking day.
Right. It's the essential wimpiness of these people. It's the essential passive aggression. The reason why you can sleep at night, the reason why I can sleep at night, the reason why a lot of these people, regardless of where they land on the political spectrum, can sleep at night is because they stand behind what they say. People who started that Facebook page, they live in the anonymity of social media. They're not used to someone being like, of standing up for at least what they fucking believe. Like you're saying, even people I disagree with, the Black Lives Matter protesters, as long as you're not breaking down fucking businesses, go protest. I respect that a lot more than someone who's on a keyboard going, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck was the other question I was going to ask? Oh, you were talking about your murals. Where does, because I'm seeing, you know, tons of videos of you. I mean, essentially that, oh no, fuck that. I remember what I was going to goddamn say. I love that Facebook thing. That made me dip into you and do research on you and watch all the videos and your website. Everybody go to scottlobaido.com. It's fucking great. But especially one of the things I wanted to do, and it might be difficult because of COVID and it's finally getting warmer or whatever, but I wanted to get a bunch of black non-liberals out and people of color like me and just be in front of Facebook and just have a legal protest, whatever the fuck. I'll sign pay the $50 or whatever the fuck it is to have but just essentially to say, hey, white liberals, you don't know what's best for us.
Yeah, that would be fucking great.
Back in the day, regardless of whoever the authoritarian is, if you're against free speech, fuck you. That's who I'm against. And right now, I know back in the 80s, I say this all the time, back in the 80s, it was the PMRC. It was the people who were like wanting to put warning signs and saying, Ice-T was a piece of shit because he wrote a song called Cop Killer. And they wanted to shut him down, the Christian conservative, oh my God, right. But now it's not that fucking way anymore. The machine is leftist. The machine is liberals. The machine are these whiny little white motherfuckers, okay? So who do we fight and how do we fight the right way? And I think part of the way is to make these motherfuckers look smelly. Nobody wants to be around somebody who pee-peed their pants on the school bus. You know what I'm saying? That's what these people are. And to say,
good analogy.
And to take it to them, the reason why they've become the cultural leaders is because they were the cool ones back in the goddamn day. Back in the day, they were fighting against the machine. Now they fucking are. You know what I'm saying? So to get down to a balance, we need to call these motherfuckers uncool, and God damn it, that's the way to do it, in their face.
But the other thing too is that most of them are behind the fucking machine. They're not in face anymore. Like I said earlier, there's no more face. I see people that ripped me on the fucking devil's machine here on the computer, and then I'll see them in the street, and they'll be like, "Hey, hi," like, and I'm not a tough guy, I'm not gonna beat anybody up, but like,
right.
Just come on over here.
Yeah,
man, have a drink with me. I'll have you piss in your pants. You tell me what you think of me, and I'll tell you what I think of you. We'll have a fucking good time. I'm telling you. And that's what happens when I run into these people, and I do like get right with them. Let me buy you a drink. I'm not that fucking asshole that you find out about through your fucking group of social media fucking trolls.
Right.
And but they're not out there, so it's hard to find them,
Right. Go a couple more minutes. All right with you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good.
Okay. I also wanted to touch bases regarding the Cuomo stuff, because you've done some amazing fucking work, and you have it right behind you on the left there, or on your left. Some art for Cuomo. It's beautiful. And I was talking with a friend of mine. Have you read any of the allegations against him for sexual misconduct?
A little bit here and there.
Right. And one of the things I talk about on my show a lot is the idea that principles before personalities, meaning if I believe in free speech, except for if I disagree with you, then I don't actually believe in free speech. I don't actually believe in that principle. And one of the principles that I believe in is, and this is more maybe a message to the people who follow you who are non-liberals, or a message to people who follow me who are like, yay, fuck Cuomo. And I agree, fuck Cuomo, but let's fuck Cuomo for the right reasons. And there are certain things in the little bit of research that I've done into the allegations against him. There were some creepy things, but there also were some not so creepy things.
Good. I'm glad you brought this up. Continue. I'm glad you brought this up.
The idea. So the biggest one, as an example, is he was at some party a little while ago, I think last summer, and he's talking to this girl, and he puts his hand on the small of her back. Now, as long as he wasn't putting his hand down her dress, he put his hand on the small of her back. Now, at that point, she removes his hand. Now, once she removed his hand, the right thing to do is, okay, cool. All right. But him putting his hand there is not inherently bad. The principle of seeing, and especially as a guy, you understand, we don't know if an advance is unwanted or not until we make the fucking advance. We have no idea. And that small move, is hand on the small of the back move, has worked for me many times. You know what I'm saying? But now, as soon as she removed his hand, okay, cool. All right, you're not interested, rock and roll. But the idea that putting the hand there is bad inherently is fucking dumb.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up because I am not a fucking fan of Andrew Cuomo. But, remember this whole Me Too movement, how this thing got out of control,
Right.
Again, I'm a man, you know what I mean? I've flirted with girls. I've never done anything over the line. Again, back in the day, whatever. Still, it's just, you know your boundaries and stuff. So this whole Me Too movement, I'm looking at this just in general. If I didn't care about Cuomo and he was just a guy being brought up in front of the public, in front of the world, that he put his hand on this girl's back, I'm like, all right, like you just said, she removed this hand, it's over, and maybe even like, with the sausage sandwich thing, if you think that it's sexual, then that's the way you're thinking. Maybe he just wanted to see eat the whole thing, whatever. But the reason I'm happy that this is happening to him is because he's the guy who was saying, I'm an angel, Trump's a fucking womanizer, Kavanaugh's a womanizer. Yeah. So fuck you. Now it's coming at you, even if you didn't do the right thing. But I know he did some fucking off-color thing. But that's where I'm happy that he's getting his comeuppance. So I'm glad you brought that up. There is a line. It's over the top. How do you communicate? Look, a girl walks down, a hot, beautiful girl walks down the street in a fucking bikini and high heels. I'm fucking looking. I'm looking. And if that makes me a fucking perverted fucking womanizer, fucking label me that. If she's walking down the street, I'm looking. It's instinct. It's primitive. I'm not going to go jump on her and fucking tear her. It's just, so that whole movement went way deep. Look at, you can't. Well, you shouldn't look at a girl if she's, breasts are hanging out. I'm a fucking man. It's 20,000 years ago. It's instinct. You didn't learn. It's just instinct.
Right.
So anyway, like you said, yeah, I think he's getting a little crazy with this stuff. But again, you're the guy who was bitching to everybody who didn't do anything.
Right.
And now it's coming back in your face.
Right. And I'm more than happy to say, all right, fuck you. But I just don't want to, I just want to be careful, not careful, but I just want to also throw in just a little bit of salt to the conservatives who follow me or who follow you are going to watch this. Like, okay, yes, fuck him, but let's fuck him for the right reasons. The main reason we'd be saying fuck him is because of the shit he did for COVID. That's the main thing. The main thing we should say is because he's so, believe all women. And now all of a sudden, oh, believe all women. That's fun. But they, Washington Post made this list of like, the timelines of allegations against Cuomo. And they included jokes. And I'm like, everybody I know, women included, fucking pay attention to me, goddammit, girls. Women included have said way fucking worse than anything he fucking said as a joke.
Yeah.
Be fucking real. With some of the nastiest shit in the world.
Yeah.
When women get together, they, talk about dick size, talk about this, talk about that. Like, be fucking real. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them. And also, side note, not only are the advances that we make, we don't know whether it's a wanted advance or a non-wanted advance until we make an advance. You girls, you want us to make the advance. You fucking I was flirting with this goddamn girl at this goddamn cafe. And, I'm not all that, whatever. And plus I go to that cafe every day. So I didn't want to be too make it uncomfortable in my whatever. But she's flirting, and I'm flirting over the course of a couple of weeks. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll give her my card. Give her my card. Don't hear anything. And I'm like, okay. And then I see her again a couple of days later. I'm like, hey, you never texted me. She's like, I didn't want to feel like a creep. I'm like, I gave you my fucking card. What do you mean you didn't want to feel like a creep? Girls are not used to making the move, nor do they want to be. Y'all don't fucking want to. That's our job. You know what I'm saying? Call it sexist, whatever you want. You want us to be the one to be like, hey, are you interested? Whether that be a hand on the back or a text or whatever. You want us to be the ones to do it. And, the guys who don't do it are the ones who don't get fucking laid. Let's be real,
It's, again, I'm a dude. I'm 55. I've been through it all. And it's like there's this new young group of white men and women are just trying to emasculate, Right. Again, I know my lines, I know my boundaries, Right. I knew them back then, but it was a little more open. Nobody was, I put your hand on your knee, and you moved your knee, I'm just, I'm not grabbing. It just was, you got to get the fuck off of me. Don't look at me, LoBaido. I don't fucking like you. You're sleeping with that one over there, whatever, and now it's just like, we're not supposed to be fucking men, Right. We're not supposed to be men. I don't understand. And it's kind of sad. And that's how we have to progress as people. We can't, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's just very surreal to me. It's very surreal to me. Very surreal.
Right. And I think most of that comes from people not, just to get fucking hippie with it real quick. It comes from people not doing their fucking, I don't want to call it healing work, but it comes from people not getting therapy for anger against their fucking parents, especially father. If you're mad at your daddy, you're going to make Trump, oh, that's daddy. I hate you, dad. Bitch, do some therapy, do some yoga, meditate, bitch. Just fucking get over the idea that someone with a dick is evil just because they have a dick. You know what I'm saying? It's childish and it's fucking myopic and it's easy to fucking see. And I smell it on all kinds of types of people. You know what I mean?
You can imagine when I walk, I'll be in a restaurant with my girl and we'll be sitting down and they'll be like, oh, that's Scott LoBaido, like, you know, thumbs up kind of thing. And then we'll get another table and they'll just be like, ugh. like I raped their dog. It's like, I'm like, you know, what do you hate me for? You hate Trump, so you hate me. You don't know me, you know, but it's part of the, I enjoy it. You know, my poor girlfriend, she's very introverted. She's very quiet. She's liberal, but she's not like, you know, when I'm a maniac, you know, people are like, you're dating a liberal girl. You got your liberal stuff. I said, yeah, it's interesting. We have been, you know, we disagree. We get a little rough, but not like crazy. You know, she's not a maniac.
Right.
You know, and, but just, and again, got to go back to this again. I hate to be that guy. I love technology. I use social media. I use the computer. I use my cell phone. I take pictures of my work. I use it because it's there. And, you know, I have to join the world, but I had that world where there was no, you know, there was none of this. Right. It was you met a girl. And again, that's what it is too with these younger people. They're not used to socializing. They don't go out to bars as much as, you know, go meet. I don't care. It doesn't have to be a bar. Just go to the park and smell somebody's sweat, you know, just it. And they lost that. So every little thing is like, oh my God, he looked at me in public. He looked at me that way, you know. Right.
And not just that, but also the dudes too. When you're in person with somebody, you can feel energy, and dudes know. Big word. When I'm with somebody on a basketball court or something, and I talk out of the side of my neck, I might get hit. And guys who don't realize it, who don't like, oh, this is what dudeness is, or a factor of dudeness and whatever, is that if I say some off-pocket shit, I might get socked. So I don't say some off-pocket shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so we need to kind of get around each other some more. And maybe that'll be the benefit of once this COVID things. I mean, I'm already feeling like, I don't know if this is your experience too, but like, especially like when I lived in Portland and it was just rain for like 7-8 months out of the year, all of a sudden when the sun would come out, people would get fucking nuts. The same thing is going to happen. There's going to be, we are going to have a herpes outbreak because once we've been locked down for a year.
We're going to have a lot of babies from COVID from, you know, the spouses. But once this opens up, you're absolutely right. Herpes is going to be fucking spreading. People aren't going to give a fuck. I don't care what you give me, man. I just need to. Yeah. But it's already starting. I've been going, you know, I've always had a little places to go during COVID where, you know, because I'm a barfly. I'm a fucking restaurant guy. I like to eat out and I like to fucking drink. I like my fucking bars. Right. That's where, you know, that's where this country was founded on. That's what pissed me off about this whole thing, where they knew to shut down taverns, saloons, and bars, even though we know the facts and the science that it only spreads 1.4%. But at home, it spreads at 75%. And these jerk-offs are telling everybody to stay home where people are partying because they understood, this was before the election, they understood that our founding, our revolution started in taverns, bars, and saloons. And they did not want us to come together, people like me or you, to come together and discuss things, because then that would be dangerous for their, you know, overtake socialism or whatever the fuck they're doing. So it's sad. So I see it opening up now in my local community. I went out a couple of places last night, put my, you know, I couldn't sit at the bar, but when I walk into a restaurant, there's a bar there with no stools. I put my fucking elbow on the bar. Right. Just rub it, just to feel that feeling. For the last year, my elbow The last 35, 40 years, my elbow has been turned raw skin from being a barfly. But the last 9 months, it's like a baby's ass. It's smooth. Right. I don't like it. Right. I need it scratched up.
Right. Let's start wrapping up. But I want to talk just you are prolific in your art. I guess the last question, or one of the last questions, is just as far as the different mediums you do. That's what was really intense, is like people who see that you do an American flag, and you do a lot of them, but you do abstract American flags. You do I don't know the fucking words, so I
impressionistic, abstract, surreal, realist, three-dimensional sculptures of it.
Right, you do some. I mean, that Cuomo behind you is a bit almost Dali-esque. Like it's almost like a Beksinski and a couple of other. Like I love the darkness. You have the lightness. You have the positive. You know have painted live shit with wings for 9/11 and it's just you're prolific.
Most artists have a style. They have a style. You know a Van Gogh. You know, I don't have a style. You'll see some of it. Well, you'll see some of my style and some of my work, but I love doing what I do, that I just keep challenging myself. I painted the flag 10,000 times and people are like, aren't you fucking sick of it? No, everyone is like the first one I ever painted. And I keep challenging myself. And the challenge is to maintain the integrity of that flag, but yet make it a little pop culture. Let children see it in a different light, because even when I was younger, the Pledge of Allegiance, you don't know what you're saying. You're young. You know what the flag means. You don't know what the blood that was sacrificed. So I want children to see the flag as something, that's why I do it giant and three-dimensional. You could crawl into some of my curls on the flag. There's reds, oranges, maroons, to make it, reflective. And it attracts attention to younger generations to see it in a different light. Wow, Dad, that's cool. What is that flag doing on that building? Well, son, that's a veterans hall. Those veterans that hang out in that building, they're the ones who allow us to go to the Yankee game tonight. So if I get one kid and I perform live speed paint the flag on stage with these kids in school, paint's flying, rock and roll music is playing, and these kids go wild. And if I get 5 kids out of 1,000 at one class that becomes respectful and understands a little bit about that flag, I win. I win. So I just keep creating, I sculpt. I mean, you can see the sculpture behind me.
Yeah.
On this weird fucking, I don't know what it is, some fucking skull. I made it out of clay and wire. And I just, but I want to get, if I get time, I want to discuss one thing about the flag.
Yeah.
And why it is, my most important thing to create and why it is the most beautiful thing. I'm not a genius. I'm not the guy who's going to invent the new cubism or the new surrealism or the new ism in art. I'm not that good. I'm really not. But the flag, the flag to me is the greatest work of art ever created. We don't look at it. It is the most meaningful, powerful, sexiest work of art in the history of civilization. And what I'm doing, I'm just a promoter. That's what I am. I just have a gift to paint and sculpt or whatever, but I am a promoter of that wonderful, greatest work of art. I have flirted with the Mona Lisa at the Louvre, dans Paris, face to face. The Mona Lisa, you learn that in art class when you're a kid. And there she is, and I cried. It's the Mona Lisa. I seen the Sistine Chapel. I touched the statue of David. I crawled under the rope and I had to touch it. Michelangelo, I touched the Van Gogh, his thick, painful brushstrokes. At the MoMA, I think it was, I had to touch it, just touch it, because these are the masters of the world. But the most beautiful, powerful, meaningful work of art is the Star-Spangled Banner. Why? Why, Scott? Why is that flag more important? The French flag is beautiful, but it represents the French people. The German flag is beautiful, it represents the Germans. The Indian flag, the Russian flag, this flag, it represents those individual people. The American flag represents every fucking corner, every organic culture from every corner of the fucking universe. Everybody comes to America. They are lined up like the hottest nightclub in town to come here for freedom. That's why this country and that flag is the greatest fucking flag in the world. It represents humanity. And when I see these young fucking people burning it, they're not hurting anybody and they're not helping their cause. They're making veterans, World War II veterans, cry. They're making them cry. They're not thinking. You protest, you hang that flag high because it allows you to protest whatever the fuck you're protesting. So the American flag, I will paint it on my dying breath.
Beautiful. Well,
thank you for
very, very well said. And it makes everything else possible. Just we'll end with that idea. I mean, really, free speech is all that really matters. Because once we're talking and we're listening to each other, we can affect change. We can start laws. We can whatever. We can listen to each other. The people who are in charge, who are interested in shutting that down, are all of our enemies. Yes, even if you're a leftist, the enemy of all of us is anyone who's stopping us from talking and listening to each other. Just fucking remember that. Thank God for America. Anyway, thank you so much, Scott. This has been a fucking great conversation. I really appreciate it. Again, everybody go to scottlobaido.com and you can find you on, and you're on TikTok too?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok now. When I posted that Facebook thing.
Yeah.
It's up to like 600 and something thousand views. That was a good one.
Yeah,
TikTok is fun. You know, and then once in a while you scroll down and there's this beautiful girl in a bikini dancing. I'm just saying, you know, it's there, you know.
Listen, she's just as talented as you are, Scott.
More so.
Anyway, thank you so much. And everybody, wherever you're listening, make sure you subscribe to CONSERVATISH. Make sure you rate it, review it, share it with your friends. And you can find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano and not TikTok yet. But yeah, I'm available. Oh, and everybody, I'm starting a merch site soon, and I'm coming out with a new cover song. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube, you motherfuckers. And I'll go ahead and stop the recording.